So once again, there is a miniature civil war revolving around the film Captain Marvel, based off the extremely popular Marvel character Squirrel Girl. This movie has been nothing but a massive shitstorm since day one. Everything from Rotten Tomatoes deleting negative reviews to prop up the score before opening weekend, to Disney rumored to have purchased entire theaters worth of tickets to inflate box office numbers. This has been an embarrassing fiasco, only made worse by the admission by critics that the movie is bad, but they won't give it a negative review simply to spite trolls. Now, this movie came out, then it got savaged by critics that actually had integrity to go in and review the film without personal politics, and then it was pretty much forgotten. Everyone was using it as filler for Endgame anyway. The only thing that really kept this movie in the headlines was the absolute cunty behavior from Brie Larson.
Is there any competition between the different sects, the different groups?
There's no competition for me because I'm the strongest, so it's just kind of like a...
Who reveals more and more each day that she's essentially the new Amy Schumer, a rotten bitch propped up as though she's somehow an ideal role model for children. I've tried my best to avoid talking about Captain Marvel, at least as much as I could on this channel. I made one video and dropped it like a hot rock. Mainly because I didn't want to serve as unintentional marketing and give the movie free publicity. Now, some channels tend to go a little overboard with the Captain Marvel stuff, and I've wanted to avoid being in that camp as much as possible. But this is a development that I actually think needs some discussion, because everything I've seen about this seems to be missing multiple massive points, ones that really do need addressing. So, there's a bunch of deleted and extended scenes coming out online for Captain Marvel. Clearly, these are leaks to get people excited for the Blu-ray release coming up. Of course, no one's actually excited for this movie, and the only people who will buy it are the freaks that will go to the movie like 100 some odd times to make sure it makes its money back. But it's a marketing move, so whatever. Now, I would show you guys some of these scenes just as, visual evidence, but apparently copyright strikes are flying out like candy against people that use them, even if it's to talk about them and not just pure re-uploads. Some people say it's some conspiracy to hide how bad they are before the DVD comes out, but it's probably more so that Disney wants to only allow certain specific outlets to talk about it. The bought out corporate shills that will pretty much take whatever check Disney gives them. Which, to be fair, has always been the case. It's nothing new. Anyway, one of these extended scenes is a longer version of the motorcycle scene. For those that haven't seen the movie, which by the way, you made the right call. You're a great person. I love you. This scene goes as follows. Carol is sitting down at a bench, reading a newspaper. A biker rides up and hits on her. Now, the original movie just cuts to Carol riding his motorcycle while wearing the guy's jacket, clearly implying she stole it to get back at the guy for hitting on her because he was being an obnoxious, sexist dick. This actually somewhat works in the original context. Like I said, the dude was being an obnoxious, extremely over-the-top, laughable level obnoxious because, they had to make a straw man out of this random biker showing up and hitting on Carol. But that's not the point. The point is, in the scene, the guy's being an asshole, so Carol gets back at him by stealing his bike. Okay, whatever. But this new extended version is literally outright evil. So, in this new version, the guy still hits on her, still acts like a chauvinistic dick. But instead of just cutting to Carol riding the bike, it shows her walk up and taser the guy. And to top it all off, she grabs his hand and threatens to rip his fucking arm off if he doesn't give up the bike. This is evil. Literally evil. This is the kind of shit Brandon from Brightburn would do. No two ways about it. Carol is a villain here. She's using her far superior strength and training to threaten a guy to get what she wants, and for pretty flimsy reasoning anyway, since all she's trying to do is get to a bar so her memories come back. It's not like she's in the middle of a chase scene and needs to steal a vehicle so she won't die. See, a movie that did this really well was Baby Driver. That had a scene where the protagonist holds two guys at gunpoint to steal their car, but he was being hunted by the police and a psychopath wanting to kill him. There was actual weight behind why he needed the car. Carol, though, it doesn't make any sense. She can fly, for one, at least until the movie forgets that and she has to drive cars to get to places. And I know that some people might say she needs to be inconspicuous, but Carol already sort of blew her cover when she fought the shape-shifting alien in the crowded subway. Yeah, the scene on the train. Besides, if she stayed high enough, it's not like anyone could have used an iPhone to record her. The movie takes place in the 90s. She has nothing but advantages in regards to the technology to keep her cover hidden. Now, the Captain Marvel defense crew came out and said the scene is totes okay. Nothing's wrong with it, you're just being an asshole. Because everyone just accepted it when Arnold beat the shit out of a bunch of bikers in Terminator 2 for their clothes and bike. Of course, that's absolutely retarded, and ignores quite a massive chasm of context to reach that conclusion. See, the bikers in Terminator 2 were violent, homicidal assholes. Ones that literally put out a lit cigarette into Arnold's shoulder for annoying them. It was very clear that we were supposed to hate these guys and not feel bad when the Terminator beat their ass like an unruly orphan. It was equal. Captain Marvel just has a guy hit on Carol, badly, but not exactly deserving of any maiming. Also, and this is something I never hear talked about enough in regards to, going against the T2 defense, the beginning of Terminator 2 is a bait and switch. Now, we all know the twist, and more people probably have seen Terminator 2 than the first one, but the idea of Arnold being the good guy was actually meant to be a dramatic reveal later in the movie. Of course, the marketing completely spoiled it, in true Terminator fashion, sadly, but it's still spelled out in the film. Just like in the first movie, the T-800 just shows up in the present and beats the shit out of a bunch of guys to get his looks and the equipment. We are given basically zero evidence to believe that Arnold is the good guy. Hell, if you went in completely blind when the movie came out in 91, you somehow avoided the trailers and the commercials and all that, and just walked into this movie without knowing a single thing beyond it's a sequel to Terminator, you were probably under the impression that the whole idea was that John was being hunted by two Terminators. Then the scene in the hallway happens, and it's revealed that the T-800 was hacked and there to help John. But he's still pretty much built up as a villain before then. And even after the reveal, it's still established that the T-800's a fucking killer. John Connor has to literally explain to it that he doesn't want Arnold to kill people.
Jesus, you were gonna kill that guy!
Of course, I'm a Terminator.
Listen to me very carefully, okay? You're not a Terminator anymore, alright? You got that? You just can't go around killing people!
Why?
So trying to compare Captain Marvel almost snapping off a guy's wrist for a sexist joke to a literal murderous assassin robot doing what it is programmed to do is not really the best idea. But we all know this is a desperate straw poll by people who don't even want to admit that Marvel fucked the pig bloody with this. Really, the whole culture around this movie is just absolute cancer. It's a shallow corporate product built to take money. It has no intention of genuinely inspiring people to go out there and be doctors or scientists or get women in STEM or whatever fucking bullshit charity case they want to pretend they're helping. It's a Disney flick that exists because some boardroom jerk-off thought Captain Marvel would sell toys. And when they realized how badly Brie Larson was burning the bridge with fans, and the comics with her are constantly bashed for turning her character into a literal fucking Nazi, they sunk way too much money into the movie to call it quits, to cut their losses. So they had to find some way to save the sinking ship. Now, hopefully, this is the last time I talk about this movie. I don't want it to exist solely because of the controversies behind it, like something like a Ghostbusters 2016. I want it to fade into nothingness, just like Thor 2. That's where it belongs, unloved and forgotten in the dark abyss of mediocrity. Fuck this movie. Watch something good instead, like Terminator 2.